What's going on, everybody? Today we're gonna go deep south. I'm talking Cajun, Louisiana flavors and a grilled cheese. Let's get started. All right, folks, so let's talk about the ingredients before we get started here, what you're gonna need for this recipe. So we're gonna start with some sourdough bread today. I've been using Texas toast lately. If you've been paying attention, they were going a little different, a little sourdough, all right? And then for this recipe, we're gonna use some crawfish tails. So my local grocery store carries them in a 2-pound frozen pack. I took about half of the pack, so about a pound of it here. We're gonna get that going on the griddle here in just a moment and get it prepared for that grilled cheese. And then instead of using our traditional cheese, we are gonna go with a jalapeno pimento cheese. Now, I really actually enjoy making my own pimento cheese, but it's a weekday. You know what? Time is of the essence. So I'm going with the store-bought, but if you're interested, I am going to drop my homemade pimento cheese recipe down in the description for you as well. So let's move on over to the Blackstone and get started. All right, folks, so you can see I got my butter wheel that I am really loving. I'll put information about that in the description for you as well. To butter that bread with, I'm gonna share, we're gonna do something a little different with it today as well. So because I wanted to keep half of that pack frozen of that crawfish, I'm gonna use it later for another special recipe. I took out about a pound of that crawfish here. It's not completely frozen, a little bit thawed up, but I'm just gonna set it over here on my Blackstone, kind of a lower heat. So continue to thaw out. While it's thawing out, and allow myself to get some other ingredients. I'm gonna take just a little bit of butter. All right, I'll take that butter, go ahead and lay it on top, and I'm gonna hit it with just a little bit of Creole seasoning as well. And we'll come back and mix up that crawfish here in just a moment and start to get our bread ready as well. All right, so something else I'm gonna do with that Creole seasoning is I am going to, since my butter has melted a little bit, inside that butter wheel, I'm gonna add some Creole seasoning to that melted butter. So when I roll that bread across, it gets some of that seasoning in there as well. As you can see, those crawfish tails are almost ready. So we're just about ready to put together our grilled cheese. All right, you guys, so you know how I like to roll. I actually like to toast the inside of my bread a little bit as well. So let's take that butter roller and work that sourdough. And we'll go ahead and we're going to quickly toast what would be the insides here. And we'll come back and flip over in just a second. While we're doing that, we're going to start taking out some of this crawfish and actually get it on the hot skillet to get it nice and warm as well. Kind of give it a quick cook. And we'll come back and get this sandwich piece together. All right, friends, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that bread off. You can see it got a little toast there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that ready off to the side here so we can get everything ready to rock and roll. All right, I'm gonna start here in just a moment with that pimento cheese, and then we'll get those crawfish tails on there. So now I'm gonna take that jalapeno pimento cheese, and I'm gonna give it a good generous spread on actually both sides of the bread here. Now what I did is I turned that crawfish down nice and low as well so it doesn't overcook on us. Get this other piece of bread going here. All right, I'm gonna kind of run this one across that butter. Get that on there real quick. Get this going here. Start putting on some of that crawfish. There we go. And then come back, go ahead and pre-butter the back of that sourdough. Lay on top the other piece there. All right. I've got my panini press. I'm going to go ahead and press this a little bit. I've got the heat turned down nice and low. All right. And then we'll come back and flip it here in just a moment. All right, friends, it's time to go ahead and flip that over. Oh yeah, look, nice and crispy on that side. We'll go ahead and add that press back for just a moment. Give it here about another 30 to 45 seconds, so we should be ready to snack on this. Okay, friends, it is time to remove it from that Blackstone griddle. Look at that. Doesn't it look delicious? This sandwich is big enough for two, by the way. All right, we'll let it cool for just a moment. And then we're gonna get it sliced open and give it a taste test. Oh yeah, this is gonna be absolutely delicious. There's another sneak peek for you, my friends. Look at that. Oh, all right. Well, you know what? I'm a little impatient today. So let's go ahead and we're gonna slice it. And we're gonna open it up for you. Oh, that pimento cheese is so melted there. Oh yeah, baby. Let's come back and give it a taste test here in just a second. Once again, friends, there is that crawfish and pimento cheese grilled cheese. I have a funny feeling this is gonna get a little sloppy here when we give it a taste test. Slide this half over to the side so I can share it when I go inside. Look, this ingredients is so melted there with that pimento cheese, that crawfish, just the smell of that Cajun Creole seasoning. Here we go. Mmm. Oh yeah. Wow. Well, as I continue to chew it, there's some complexity here you wouldn't imagine, because obviously with that crawfish, a little bit of that Creole season we put in there with that butter originally, the Creole season with the butter on the inside and the outside of that toasted sourdough. And then there's so much that happens with a pimento cheese, because it's typically like a sharp cheese, probably a little bit of cream cheese in that mix, some mayonnaise, the pimentos obviously, and then some little bit of jalapeno. So there's a lot of depth within really this grilled cheese today. You guys are going to love this recipe, especially as we embark here in mid-April. I believe April 17th is National Crawfish Day. So enjoy this recipe. You guys will find out everything you need to know in the description of this episode. Hopefully you guys are also enjoying our grilled cheese series. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again on Bones and Brews.